Hey, it's Clay at claytrader.com. This will be my top 10 stocks as we head into Monday, July 18th. This will be a technical analysis breakdown. So if you're somebody that uses charts within your trading, or maybe you're just interested in learning more about charts and how they can be used to help make good decisions as a trader, this will be a video for you. Before I get to the stocks, a couple quick clarification points. First off, this number you see over here will be changing around along with the candlestick here. It'll be moving. That is because the market's still open for a small amount of time. But I like to do these videos when the market is still open because sometimes we can capture some really interesting late day price movement. And then second, I'll be using the 30-minute time frame. So for a beginner, what that means is that each one of these candlesticks here, as they're called, represents 30 minutes worth of time. So stock number one here, USEA. And this one made a big move and then went completely dormant. Kind of just drifted into oblivion. And then all of a sudden today, the volume has returned and a whole lot of people watching it. And what I like from the charting perspective is a very nice, well-defined trend line here. So as I draw this trend line, please don't think that I'm trying to impress you or trying to imply that this is some sort of special talent or great discovery. The exact opposite. I assure you a lot of people around the world have drawn that trend line. And I say that because when a lot of people are watching the same level, it can produce some very dynamic movements. Call it self-fulfilling prophecy, call it whatever you want. It's not guaranteed, but it is valid to think that if the price can come up to that trend line and get a break up through it, that break in and of itself could create a good amount of extra buying pressure. But once again, no such thing as a guarantee, but that's certainly a plausible thought process to have. If you prefer to more so play pullbacks, then an interesting level from the pullback standpoint down there at $5, and maybe to make this just one pattern to make it easier to see. We have our resistance, we have our support, we have the big momentum move today. Let's put our golf hole down there to make it a little bit more visual, and this would be known as a bull pennant pattern. So if you like to play bull pennants, if you like to play stocks down below the $10 mark, here you go. Next, GOEV did this one recently, and overall, the key level, without doubt, is still all about that $5 mark up there, the red line. But after we got today's price movement, basically just a day of consolidation, but yes, $5 is the main overall breakout point, but I think there's another breakout point within this entire pattern, and once again goes to that whole idea of self-fulfilling prophecies. But you got to think that a lot of people have drawn that trend line in right there over the past couple of days. I mean, done a fantastic job of forecasting all these different rejection points. So moving forward, if you do like to play breakouts, and just to reiterate, no guarantees, but is it valid? Is it rational to think that if the price can get up to that level, break up through it, that could create some good solid buying pressure? Absolutely. But also, I'm not going to say that if it breaks that line, then a massive explosion is going to come, because you still do have that $5 mark up there, which so far twice now has rejected the price back downward. So that doesn't mean that the price can't get through $5. I'm just saying you want to be a little skeptical, before you think that there's some sort of epic breakout that's occurring. But even from a trading standpoint, even if it were to break out there and go up to that level, I mean, percentage speaking, that could still add up pretty quickly. But in my mind, those are definitely going to be the two main dynamics. So yes, $5 is the overall level, but before you put too much focus on that, let's see if the price can break up through that, near-term trend line right there. Next one, EVTL, and just an absolutely monster move today. Big, huge volume, and the price has essentially just been grinding up higher and higher the entire day long. I did pull back here a little bit, which brings about the first key level to watch from a resistance standpoint. And there's nothing fancy or complicated here about this. It's literally just a question of, well, where did the momentum finally stop today? And that was up there at $5.40. So 540 will be that key initial breakout point right there. And then as far as supports, got a pretty interesting trend line right there that the price has really done a good job of respecting. So let me actually change that to green to represent more so a bullish and support area of the pattern. Like I said, when you look closely, it's relatively steep, but I mean, it's done a great job of holding strong so far. And then just to bring it all the way home as far as a pattern, have our resistance, have our support, have our momentum move. So we have another bull pennant pattern here. Not necessarily a totally textbook bull pennant, but like I said, at the end of the day, the key is the story. And the story here is that this thing continues to put in those higher lows, and as it continues to creep higher and higher to 540, maybe you get another big breakout, which as the price proved today, it can move and move very quickly. Next, PLUG. Been a while since I've done this one. It used to be a very popular stock, but it's kind of drifted off people's radars, but had a big surge in volume today. Unfortunately, not necessarily in the bullish side of things. Had a rough day. And really, this is, yes, there's been a bounce here, so I don't want to take away from things and make it sound like that bounce has not been nice. However, there is a big but, and that is that, yeah, it's bouncing. However, this is still occurring in a pretty downwards environment, including today, which that opening 30 minutes right there set the tone of the day. Very big move down in the bearish direction. So in all actuality, while I do understand the price is bouncing upwards like this, there was that big downwards momentum move. So in this case, we have an upside down pennant. So we'll put the golf ball up here. So this would be a bear pennant pattern. So if you are somebody that likes to play shorts, then, you could potentially get a short to the downside through this pattern. But to be fair, I mean, it did bounce. So if you like to try to maybe play kind of counter trend type movements, then if this thing comes back up here and gets a move up through that top part of the pennant, then you could have a situation there. But you just have to be aware that you are technically, trading against the trend there in that situation. But if you are somebody that likes to play bearish patterns, then you have a very textbook bear pennant right here on PLUG. Next, AMC, and this will mean a tad bit more to those that have watched past videos, but if you have, you're probably getting sick of me talking about that red to resistance line right there. But as I mentioned in the previous video, it feels like it's going to come into play here, and it's looking like Monday is going to be the day as the price has done a fantastic job after a very nasty opening 30 minutes with that big red candle there. The price is slowly been creeping up higher and higher, and now as I speak, you can see this candle still moving around, but it's certainly within the striking distance of that area of the trend line, and that's the idea of a watch list. Not to just randomly rush out and buy something, but to identify unique situations. So identify interesting situations and then watch them, observe, and if they ultimately do behave in a way that fits your personal strategy, then at that point you can take action on it. So for those of you that like to play breakouts, then yeah, worth at least observing and watching because the price is narrowing up around that area. Does that mean it's going to break? No. Does that even mean it's going to get tested? No. But is it at least valid to think that way? Is it at least an interesting dynamic right now? Absolutely. Real quick, wanted to pause and personally invite you to get signed up for this free live online training that I'm offering next week. So if you've been enjoying what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, how it should be used to build consistency as a trader, then certainly get signed up for this free training. If you're watching on YouTube, there's a link down in the description box. You can click to get signed up. Or if you're watching at my site, there's an area right there on the webpage that you can click to get signed up. So like I said, if you've been liking what you've seen and you want to learn more about this tool, then certainly get signed up for the free training. Next one, NEXI, and I like this one for a very simple reasoning. You have two very straightforward levels. So, circling back to the whole idea of self-fulfilling prophecies, I think we could definitely have something like that here. So the first level that really stands out is this support level down here at $1.85. Give or take, you can see that the price has bounced off that level several times throughout the course of the day. But the level that I think most people will be watching, because I think most people out there are probably breakout players. I suppose I don't know that for sure. But a lot of people have drawn that trend line right there, and rightfully so. So I'm not going to keep repeating myself, but just quickly, is it guaranteed? No. Is it plausible to think that if the price can turn around, get up to that trend line and break through it, that could create some sort of self-fulfilling prophecy? Absolutely. And then just very quickly to make this all in the same color. So we have our resistance, have our support, have our big upwards momentum move there. Let's get our golf ball down here. We have ourselves another bull pennant pattern. Next, AMD, and this one just brings a tear to my eye. I mean, the power of charts. So quick plug, I'm not trying to pat myself on the back, but definitely patting charts on the back. So get signed up for that free training. But then this will mean a bit more to those of you that watch past videos, but I put in that resistance trend line, and then you can see right there, the price broke up through it. And just a basic rule in charting is when levels of resistance are broken and closed above, you ideally want to see them act as support. So check this out. Price broke out, came back down, back tested beautifully before continue on up. Like I said, as a technical trader, it brings a tear to my eye. Truly a thing of beauty right there. So very nice movement on that angle, but let's get some new dynamics mapped out. And yes, I'm going to get rid of that line for now, so it's no longer relevant. But the level that I'm going to be very curious about now moving forward is all about this trend line right here. Yes, it's not relevant at all right now, but like I said, in the future, if it does become relevant, then it's worth it, at least in my opinion, keep an eye on. So that's going to be more so that overarching level of support. But in the near term, in terms of areas of support, the ideal level, meaning for you to ask Clay, what's going to make this chart look the healthiest and best moving forward? That's going to be if the price can stay above the pink line right there, 200 period moving average, currently valued at 78.75. So keep an eye on that from a support standpoint. In terms of levels of resistance, yeah, been a while since the price has been up this high. Always a good problem to have. Next key level of resistance, we're going to be right up here at, let's call it, just want to double check. Yeah, $81.25, which is coming from this little miniature consolidation period right here before the price got just hammered to the downside. So it's all the way back up to that area. So from a breakout standpoint, that's a big question mark moving forward. Can the price break up above $81.25? Let's see what happens. Next one, FCEL. I screwed this one up. I should have put it right after PLUG. Not only are they basically the same stock, they're the same sector, but same exact pattern. So I could have went through the exact talking points. But just real quickly, we have ourselves another situation where, yeah, you got to give some credit's due. There is a nice bounce, But on top of this bounce, there's that area of resistance, and then you have to factor in the fact that there was that big downwards momentum move. So let's put our upside down golf hole up there. So we have ourselves another bull pennant pattern. So pretty much exactly mimicking PLUG, but I like this one, and I want to throw it on the watch list too because it offers you a different price range. Just went down below $5. PLUG was a bit more expensive. So now you have basically the same exact premise, same exact, general, framework moving on here, other than the fact that one is a little bit cheaper than the other one. So like I said, if you want to get involved in these sorts of situations, but just at a smaller price, FCEL could allow you to do that. Next, AMZN Amazon, and overall a good day. Afternoon a bit rough as the price pulls back here, but 3 candles are not making or breaking a chart. Overall, everything is still perfectly fine, especially when you factor in that, it closed right down here at Thursday. So even with the pullback, it's still closing up way above where it was. So definitely get some things updated here. And like AMD, want to get this trend line into play here just because, not necessarily that it's going to come into play anytime next week, but just generally speaking, at some point, I think that trend line will be coming into play, and I think there could be some potential trade plans that could be formed around that area, which actually just catching my eye. But this last 30 minutes, pretty crazy volume. Huge volume. Not as big as the opening 30 minutes, but besides that, second biggest on the pullback here. So just kind of a general observation that I just noticed there. So bigger volume on this pullback here, but overall, everything is still fine. The price is putting in those higher bases, which is what you want to see. If you want to picture those as stair steps, you have stair steps still being constructed in the upwards direction. So support wise, yeah, keep an eye on that trend line if this pullback does get any more severe. In terms of areas of resistance, I think the main dynamic here that most people are going to be watching, myself included, has to do with this 116 mark. You can see it was a problem area back here. And then today, price didn't hit it exactly, but got definitely within the general ballpark of it before, this current rejection that we're witnessing right now. So for you breakout players, 116 is the level that I think most traders will be watching. So you could potentially get some of that self-fulfilling prophecy, momentum into the entire breakout. Next one here, TSLA, and why do we have ourselves a nice ascending triangle pattern here? So really, in all actuality, I don't need to add in any more annotations. The annotations that I've added in previously are still completely in play, and I would argue even that much more in play because the price has now, stayed, between these levels. So as a recap, put in this support trend line, which is forming the bottom part of our ascending triangle, and then put in the 726 mark, which is getting more and more stubborn, although a little tricky now because this morning, opening 30 minutes, the price did break through it, made a nice move, and then just snapped right back down below it, and then did try again during that second 30 minutes, and you can see that area went right back to acting as resistance as it's done several times before. But that doesn't take away from the fact that 726, there's going to be just that many more people watching it. And sure, it's stubborn. I'm sure it might be a little tricky because you still got to now wonder, oh, great, is this going to be another fake breakout? But overall, from a pattern standpoint, I mean, if 726 does come back into play, and if you're somebody that likes to, either just play the stock or play calls or something like that, I think a lot of people are going to be all about that dynamic. And can this ascending triangle finally get a breakout and then that much more continuation? If you like to play pullbacks, then you actually have a pretty big clumping of supports. You have the trend line, you have that purple line there, the 50-period moving average, you have that pink line there, the 200-period moving average. So if there are any sort of pullbacks down around this, let's call it 707-ish area, you could very rationally say, yeah, I think the price is going to bounce back up because you do have all those supports down there. But overall, very nice, very, I think, well-defined ascending triangle. So a lot of people are going to be watching that 726 mark, including myself. So that wraps up the top 10. Again, if you like what you saw here and you want to learn more about this tool and how it can and should be used to build consistency as a trader, then certainly get signed up for the free live training. Like I said, it'll be next week, Thursday, July 21st, at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. So get signed up and hopefully I'll see you there. As far as these top 10 videos are concerned, if you enjoy this format, if you would like for me to continue to make these videos, then do 2 things for me. Hit that like button, leave a simple comment, say hi, tell me what you traded today, give me a smiley face emoji, tell me what you're doing this weekend. But those 2 things communicate to me that you enjoy, and as long as I know people are enjoying, I will continue to put in the time and effort required to get these watch list videos out to you. So again, get signed up for that free training, hit that like button, leave a simple comment down below. Everybody, thanks, take care, and have a great weekend.